Home Media.
Motherfucking. It's all I ever seem to find in my heart lately. I'm starting to think that no one can save me. The darkness inside of my heart's not changing. I can see by the look on your face you hate me. I'm on that love suicide, you superhero, no sidekick. Wanna see dead inside, just look me in my eyes, bitch.
We're back again.
We did it.
We finally made it. We made it this time. Hey, we have a shiny new SLE logo up in the corner. Check that out.
There you go, Jay. You'll be happy with that, buddy.
Jay's gonna love
There
it.
we go.
See, exactly right. James has it. He's just spinning a fucking basketball up there. It's awesome.
See, there you go.
One and only.
Classic.
I could never do that.
I could never do it either. It always just like starts off real good. It's like, oh god.
It's
Yeah.
like I get like 2 or 3 spins and it just flies off into nowhere. So,
That's it.
how are you guys doing tonight?
We're great. How are you?
Good, great.
You know, I'm good now. I'm great now.
Great.
Much better now.
Drink to that.
Drink to that. Where's our loyal subjects? We're here early tonight for you guys. For once, what the hell's going on?
They're all
Fuck them up. Fuck them
threw
up.
them all off.
Usually,
We have issues sometimes with our fans about time zones and all that sort of thing. So they see a time, they tune in, they're like, "Fuck, where is he? Like, why isn't this happening?"
Look at that. Nick's here.
What's
So
up,
there's
Nick?
one.
There we go.
No.
She's all the way over in Germany, so
Wow.
it's 4 a.m. for her.
4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
See, when we announce shows, we have to do Central, Eastern, Pacific,
Yeah.
Germany. That's how we let people know what time we're coming up. We skip Mountain Time. Is that even what it's called? Is it Mountain Time?
I thought it was just Central.
No, like there's one between Central and Pacific. Is it
I feel
That's
like
Mountain
they
Time?
have multiple names and like we just take a guess at it.
Yeah.
We've just we called it Mountain Time when in Kansas, but I don't know if that's right or not. Like now I'm seriously questioning it. I've been wondering for like a week.
Well, because I think Mountain and Central are basically the same thing.
They're an hour apart. Like Denver is an hour behind us.
I don't know. For years, I didn't think there was anything else other than Eastern Pacific. So
Yeah. So what that?
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
Denver's an hour behind us, and then like California, and then we're 2 hours behind
Okay,
us. So
but
there's
you
another
guys-
time zone there. I just don't know
But
what
you
it
guys
is.
are Eastern, and you're an hour behind us. It's 10.
No,
there,
they're
right?
an hour ahead.
it's 10 here.
Or okay, sorry.
Yeah.
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 Other way, right? Okay. Fuck. Wow.
We're trying to learn things.
We're all over the place.
That's crazy.
We don't. I don't know if I'm coming or going anymore. So I just.
I just know it's cold. That's all
Yeah.
I know.
So are you guys like in the -50 thing like Joe got going on here?
No. We're like -15 or something right now.
Oh, okay. Tony wears a sundial. That's how he.
The man, Tony.
You're
Grant, what's up, brother?
Saskatchewan. Like you literally have no shelter, bro. Like
It's flat here, boys. The wind just blows right through you. There's no hills. There's
Mhm.
like everywhere west is all mountains and east is all hills and shit to block the wind, but not here.
you
You're
could do
fucked.
Morse code with a flashlight to Manitoba,
Yeah.
couldn't you? Yeah.
That's how it is here too.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Literally flashing.
Yeah, if you catch if it's clear like right now with all the it's flurrying pretty consistently, but nothing's really sticking. But when it's clear, you can see towns that are like 30 miles away.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So you could very easily do that out here.
It's hilarious because you never get snow or cold, and you're going to get your ass kicked this weekend, Sarah.
I don't know. Like one map says 1 to 2 inches, another one says 15 to 20 inches. Wind chills all the way down to like 45 in some places.
20 inches of snow?
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
No.
That's a lot of
No.
fucking snow. That's like 2 feet of snow.
If
You have a
any of my,
snowboard?
I
No.
mean,
I doubt
There's
that.
I need to go get a sled before it gets really bad because we have a really cool hill like right out in front of my house. It's just a ditch, but it's kind of steep, and we could have some fun with that. It's not a hill. There are not hills.
Hell, it's a ditch.
I had to build a hill in the backyard. I've started building it once the snow came, and now I've got a fucking decent one for the kids to go sledding down. But I did it all by fucking hand. It's tight. It's tight as hell. Yeah.
No, I'm not
It's been
doing
too
any
cold
of
to
that.
go out
They
there.
can like when it rains really bad, we basically have a small lake in that ditch. But it's snow. If we get 20 inches of snow, we're sledding down that thing. Like
100%.
They do something with it, right?
yeah,
It's versatile.
it's there. Just as long as nobody runs out onto the highway, we're good.
You're good. Yeah. Right across.
Preferably.
Preferably.
That would happen here.
That would happen. Yeah.
See, North Carolina is kind of weird about snow.
Are
It
they?
seems like I have a lot of I feel like I talk to a lot of people every day from North Carolina, and some of them are like, "Yeah, it snowed," and others are like, "No, it hasn't snowed." I'm like, "Where are you all at?" That's
Because North Carolina is like, isn't that like considered Eastern?
Yeah.
I know nothing about. Yeah.
They're
Okay.
coastal.
Coast. Yeah. Okay.
There's an invisible barrier in the middle.
Yeah.
There's like a time warp.
You can feel it, but you can't see it.
See, Oklahoma is one of those weird states. Like there was last like early spring, well, I don't know, like mid-spring somewhere in there. There was a day where it was 36 degrees here, and in the southeast corner of the state it was 96.
Oh wow.
And it was like, how did we it's like 6 hours away. How's it 60 degrees higher? But
See, I get that kind of stuff here too, though, especially in the wintertime. It's like I consider my house to be inside of a snow globe.
Yeah.
So I could be at my house, like I'll be just before work, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I need to call in because I can't like leave. I can't see across the street.
mhm.
And then I'm like, you know what? I got to brave it. I got to go. And I get out and I start driving, and I literally drive for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and the
That's
sun's
fine.
shining. Like I can look behind me and see the doom and gloom behind me. It's like, what?
It's
Doesn't
just
make any sense.
it's just specifically above your house. It's like
Yes, exactly.
it's sunny everywhere else, but just the only house on the block with all the bullshit around. It sucks.
Just wants me to think that the weather's so bad I have to call in. So then somebody calls me and says like, "Hey, why aren't you at work today?"
Right.
Beautiful
Oh,
across
it's
town.
beautiful outside. What are you talking about?
Really?
See, that's not like our snow is usually pretty spotty like that, but I don't. What it'll
wish.
probably like flip around and it's just going to be cold and we're not going to get a drop of snow. That would be how it'll
Yeah.
work.
You'll
Just
get
remember-
you'll get all the wind, and you'll think you're gonna, oh man, I'm gonna wake up to all this snow, and
Nothing.
then you won't.
Nothing. Yeah, we won't get anything.
That's
It's
what I hate. The
there's
cold.
been enough freezing rain that it looks like it snowed, but it's all just ice right now.
I hate
So
fucking freezing rain. I hate
yeah, I guess we'll see what it turns into, but I don't know.
Just remember to run your car because they don't have block heaters in Oklahoma, so you're gonna have a real bad time. See,
I've
we're
never
Canadian.
even
We
heard of a
laugh
block
at that.
heater
We know what a
before.
fucking
I was
block
like,
heater
what
is.
is that?
Plug your fucking shit in. What?
He's like, do you have a block heater? I'm like, what? What do you mean? What is that? What's a block heater?
That's insane. Blows my mind. Tropical Oklahoma. Anyways,
Yeah.
fellas, this EP is ridiculous. It's so good. It's good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Who produced this shit?
That
I mean,
guy
shit,
down there.
like, you did the production, Jason.
Wow.
Do
Yeah.
you do that? Do you do that professionally?
I wouldn't call it that.
Okay, so anybody out there that wants to sound good, talk to me.
I
Because
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Insane. That's really
I've produced like local bands and
Mhm.
friends bands and stuff like that. I never really went for it. Just the timing never kind of worked out, and I'm not good at taking direction. So
It's good
I
at giving
did-
it, though.
yeah, which is also why there's only two of us in the band.
I was gonna say,
All right. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'd say we've come a long way from our first record for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first one was it's funny, like we were still proud of it or whatever, but
Of course.
you know, from the production side of things, I can't listen to it anymore.
I can understand that, because honestly, this one sounds so friggin' smooth. Like, there you go, JB. This guy Jason produced it. JB's the Hikikomori Pact in the comments. We were talking earlier about the production and how good it sounds. He's like, fuck.
Well, that's
I gotta
great.
find out who produced that. So he did it, Mystery Soul buddy.
I appreciate that. That's the one thing that James has to deal with at the end of every record is, hold on, I don't know if we're releasing this yet. Need to make a change here, make a change here.
Sure.
But yeah, it gets to a point.
We really
where-
make sure that
Go
we
ahead.
really make sure that what we put in there is the best thing. It really does.
Yeah, we do it out of a spare bedroom, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
we make it work.
That's all you need. That's all you need nowadays. That sounds really good.
That was definitely like when we got the single to
Yeah.
play for the show. That was the first thing I noticed was how good, like how well produced it was.
Wow, I honestly, I really appreciate that. I'm a little surprised
There you go.
to hear that, but very appreciative. And now with I should note with Dead of Sin and the second song on the record, Halo. I tried a mastering engineer out of Toronto. I just thought, you know, maybe try and get a little more out of it, see if we can anyway. And I'd say it helped. Typically in the past, I've mastered all of our stuff as best as I could with what I have. But mastering's a whole other art. You know, typically when someone says that they do mixing and mastering, I'm a little skeptical because
They're usually two different things, right? Like mixing is your that's
always
step one.
two.
Mastering's the fine tooth comb and all that. I don't have the fucking patience for either of those things. So.
Yeah, I go crazy, man. I go crazy. Like I think my ear is more developed than my skill, so it makes it a little bit hard to deal with.
He's not lying, because when we're in the writing process and he gets a song finished and he sends it off to me for me to do my thing, I'll probably get about 5 or 6 versions of the song before I bother to do much, because I know it's coming. Like he'll send it to me and he'll be like, okay man, here's the new song. I'll be like, cool. And I'll just put this over here. You know what I mean? And like the day later, sometimes in the same day, he'd be like, fuck that, take this one. Like this one's better. And I usually give it
That's
about
word
3
for
or
word
4.
too. You pay attention.
And,
He's just got it memorized now.
and and it's just and he's right. He's right by doing it. I mean, some of it's like subtle differences. Some of them is straight up like he'll scrap something or whatever, but it improves the overall quality of the whole song. It makes my job a lot easier. So
That's awesome. How long you guys been doing this thing for?
We've been doing this since the end of 2019 is when we started getting a little serious about it. However, we've both played in bands separate from one another for a lot of years, and we always kind of knew each other in the scene, so to speak. And I was always hopeful that this would happen one day, and
it did.
now we're doing it.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Mm.
JB says that is some top-notch hit record level production.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it is.
I really appreciate that.
That's really the key factor, like in the difference between what we do, and not necessarily what we do and what other people do, but it's something that when people say like what separates you, without trying to sound like you're completely original from every other band out there, because that's just not the case. But put a lot of pride into our production. We don't just want the riff to sound cool. I don't want to just sing really good and write good lyrics or something. Like, we want the overall production quality. We want it to sound like we know what we're doing. You know what I mean?
And apparently we're fooling people, so this
Right.
is pretty cool.
Jokes on everybody. But I've always thought that too, even like when I was younger, like when you listen to music, I mean, a song can be an amazing song. But if the production quality is not there, your ear tends to just not hear it for what it is. And I don't know. For my part, I feel like Jason nails that. So no matter what, the quality of our music should always be as good as it can possibly be. And it has been so far.
The lyrics are great, and the music itself is awesome. I would agree. I agree 100% with, like, and you know, it's funny because, you know, like you said, you can have an amazing song, and if the production's not great, then sorry, my cat is sitting on my lap right now, so there she is waving her tail around. If the production's not great, it seems like it's, you know, mediocre at best. But you can have something that's not even, you know, like mediocre lyrics, very basic music, and which is not you guys. I'm not saying that about you, but like you can have something that's like that. Like you can take a Nickelback song where you've got the same chord progression for almost every song and mediocre lyrics, but because it's produced like no other, it sounds good still.
Oh,
And, like Nickelback is always our go-to example for that for some reason, but like it's great when you have awesome lyrics and awesome music, and then your production is amazing on top of it. That's always like that. It definitely stands out.
Are you saying we're a triple threat?
You guys got like you're over here spinning graphics on your finger while you're just cranking out the tune.
I don't know.
I can do that.
If that finger goes down, the graphic stops. Oh,
All night long. Nope, I'm just
That'd be
suspending.
funny.
I'm using the force now at this point. Possibly.
You may
That's,
possibly be.
Triple
That's
threat.
our friend Doreen there, who's writing in there. She's on the West Coast, so
West
I know
Wow.
that she's 3 hours behind us. So I'm proud of her. She got the time right. She was struggling there for some of the shows, and she was getting really upset about it. So we figured it out.
Good to
Yeah,
go.
we have most of our guests are on the West Coast, so we're like it's 8:00 for you guys,
Yeah.
and then we're over here like, what time is it for everybody else again? Like we're getting pretty good at it. I think we finally got Hawaii nailed down too.
I have no
Not that
idea
we
what time it is in Hawaii right now.
like it would be
3
6 hours behind you
Oh wow, that much?
because it's three hours
that makes sense.
behind Pacific, so it'd be 5 hours behind Central. So yeah, 6 hours behind you.
That's awesome.
Holy shit.
I wish I was in Hawaii right now.
No,
Me too. Like I'm ready to get on a plane right now.
Hey.
It's like, can I get a flight this fast? I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks if I went down there right now. I
Damn.
think we're doing that.
it's the only way. I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Sorry.
I'd sit in a hotel room in Hawaii for 2 weeks right now. I wouldn't complain
Exactly.
about it at
Yeah.
all.
I'm in
Where's
Hawaii
this
for 2
gig?
weeks.
It's like, where have you been? Quarantine? Where?
Pretty
Hawaii.
responsible.
What's
I'd
that?
absolutely. All you got to do is open the window. I'd be fine. Like every time I get I have like I'll get customers that call and they're in Hawaii and they're like, yeah, it's like 87 degrees right now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone like it feels like it's 6 here. That's great. Love that. See, there you go. Just hole up in your room and drink for 2 weeks. I'd totally do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, your door's opening itself.
Oh, hello, buddy.
I was like, the door opened and I don't see anything. It's usually me that this happens.
Here we go.
When I saw the door open,
Why
no one
can't
come in
you
and hover about
Oh
feeling
my
built.
time to talk to them.
What do you want to say? They'll hear you.
Hi.
Just
Hey, buddy.
say hi.
But can I show them Woody?
Yeah, go get your Woody doll.
That's awesome.
That's just
This is-
easier.
This is so much more peaceful than when my child interrupted my other podcast the other night. See, at least yours wants to show people Woody. Like mine,
Tell them that story. That's funny.
my child, I have a baseball podcast, and we were about halfway through the show talking about something very serious. And my child came in and wanted me to change the TV channel for him in the other room. And I was like, you got to wait a few minutes. So he stomped out because he was mad. And on his way out the door, he stopped and turned around and dropped the F-bomb loud enough that everybody heard it. So I'm trying to be serious and tell my kid, like, you can't talk like that. You know, go to your room. You can't talk like that. My co-hosts are losing it laughing. And I'm like, thanks,
He,
guys.
he knew you were live, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Hi, boy.
No, they're good.
Yeah, but can I talk to them?
Yeah, what do you want to say? Say something quick and go back.
Hi.
Say hi.
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 I can't hear them.
There you go.
There, now you can hear us.
Hi there.
Hey.
What's up?
Nothing. Well, mommy said I could not come in here, but Oakland cried. We're in the boys' room because he tripped on something, and then also and then we took down Oak's crib. And now it's what goes beside. Now it's beside Mom.
Hey, your mom says you need to go back to bed.
Mom says go back to bed. There you go. Thanks, buddy. So,
That's adorable.
He got busted. Mom was watching.
yeah, Mom was watching. Thanks, honey. There you go. Tell him to get back to bed. That's my
He's a
word.
superstar in training. He knows when there's a camera on.
He knows. He does that sometimes. He'll bust in and be like, "Oh, I just want to say hi." It's like, just do it. It's better than fighting.
I wanted to say hi. I wanted to say hi to all
Get
the
back.
fans out there.
He's never sure, right? He always asks, he's like, "Are they bullies?" It's like, no, they're not bullies.
It's like they're all cool. Don't worry.
He's just
It's all
keeping an eye
good.
out for it.
Yeah, mine likes to. He's broken several wine glasses because he'll come running in and he's in like nothing but his underwear. I'm like, if you go put a shirt on, you can say hi to everybody. So he'll leave and he'll knock a glass off my desk on his way out, and I'm like, that's cool.
That's
Because I'm sitting here and I'm live and I'm like, I can't like start screaming at him. Somebody's gonna see that, so I just have to kind of be like, I'll talk to you later. Like, I'll talk to you later, bud. Thanks.
You cleared that up. Oh, that's funny. That's good. I don't have to deal with that. That's good. Man, so how's the response been for this EP? Like, besides obviously you blowing our minds, and thank you for sending us your tunes, because I never would have heard you. Or I don't think. You know what I mean?
it's actually been kind of unreal. Because we're a two-piece. I mean, for the most part, that's the reason why we've never played a live show. So usually when you're able to do that, you can gain a pretty decent fan base a lot quicker. We had people listening to us, but mostly just word of mouth. And I mean like literal word of mouth. We weren't really on social media much. We were on Instagram, but like didn't really utilize a lot of stuff. We'd put things up here and there and whatnot. And I don't know, we joined when after Dead of Sin came out, we just started plugging it on Twitter. Just thought, well, let's try a different avenue and see what happens. And I was literally thinking about it the other day, like trying to imagine being in that place where it's like, okay, we have to get like 1 follower, you know,
Yeah.
and like I don't know what we're up to. I mean, we're not breaking records or anything like that, but like we've only been on there since like the end of December, and I don't know, we've got like 650 or something like that followers now, so we're working our way up
That's
there.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
But we're getting radio play. A lot of it in the UK. They're unreal in the UK.
Yep.
Like, they love rock music.
That's where this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They love rock music, from like all the way from like indie rock, alternative, all the way up to like death metal and stuff. Like they don't care. They just love it.
Yeah.
And there seems to be
They love all music over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. But like, so the other side of the spectrum, like with the pop music and all that sort of thing, I mean, that's more or less, that's a global thing. But rock music it's not as accepted here as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
At least on a mainstream level.
That's true.
They just open up with open arms in the UK for that kind of stuff. And a lot of the stuff we didn't even have to send out. They stumbled across us. Our first bit of radio play, we were just found. I didn't knock on anybody's door yet. So it was really cool. And it just continues to grow and grow. And once this EP came out, there was enough anticipation, I guess, based off of Dead of Sin. People really wanted to hear it. And it's been doing really well. Like just yesterday, we had like an influx of listens to our one song, Say Goodbye, which is the last song on the EP. Like just an unreal amount of listens in one day. It was the most we'd ever seen. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, like who's listening to this? It's probably Doreen, but that has it on repeat. I'll take it.
I listened a few times today myself.
Well, there, thank you. But yeah, just an overwhelmingly positive feedback. A lot of like what you were saying earlier, like with Jay's production value and stuff like that. A lot of props going out for that. Yeah, or just we don't know what to think of it just yet. Like it's just really cool. Is the best way I can say it right now.
Yeah, I think we want to kind of keep the momentum going,
Oh yeah.
100%.
so to speak, right? You know, in the past, we would release a record or an EP and let it kind of simmer for a year, and then in the fall we start the next one. And this is kind of what we did with this one too, with the exception of releasing Debt of Sin prior to it. But we have a cover song planned in the next month that we're really, really excited about. Very excited about. I've wanted to do this one for a long time. Kind of even before James and I started writing together. But I think this one's going to surprise a lot of people in a good way. And
No one's watching. Tell us what it is. Just kidding.
Doreen wants
But
to hit
send
me.
it. But send it to us when you want to play it. We'll play it for you.
Absolutely.
we're hoping to get it all done here in the next few weeks.
Nice.
But
Let me have a guess, Doreen. Awesome. What's your guess, Doreen?
All right, what's your guess? Your best guess, Doreen.
She's following on Instagram. She might know.
Oh, that's true. Well, we did.
I'll keep it to myself.
There's a, I guess, not very well-known teaser that was floating around at one point, because we did post that, like, man, I don't even know how long ago that was. It was a little while ago anyway, but it's out there. It's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Who knew? So, yeah.
So you guys
Is
have
it
had
Eye of
like,
the Tiger?
No,
so
we're not.
you
that
guys
good.
have had like way more success, like just getting into like with the Twitter marketing style than with Instagram. Then
Yeah,
you guys
I
feel
mean,
like you have better luck with that.
I
To this
mean,
end, yeah.
I always had our Instagram page. And honestly, I'm not much for the social side of things. Like the social media side of things, I should say. I'm pretty social sometimes. But yeah, the Twitter thing and James taking over that really helped considerably. Noticed it fairly quickly as well. I think more of a music community on Twitter, which I was kind of surprised at, to be honest, because Instagram seems a lot more interactive. But again, I don't know Twitter very much. But and when we say we've seen such a great response, I mean, like we have in our eyes, right? I mean, I don't think any of our songs even have 1,000 streams yet. I mean, they're very close, but like we're just super stoked on that because we're literally, we both have families, we both work full time. We do this when we can, as I'm sure that's like the majority of people nowadays, especially with COVID and all the restrictions that everyone's had to deal with. But
I think that's why some of the numbers are pretty cool, is because we haven't been doing this very long.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, we haven't been promoting it on social media like heavy very long at all. Like I said, no previous live gigs before us, so like we haven't been known for a period of time type idea. This is all just kind of blown up in the last like less than 2 months at this point.
Yeah, and we are planning on getting to some point with performing live. Don't really know how that looks yet. But
I don't think anybody does at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? But we have players ready. We have good friends of ours ready that are kind of on the same, whatever you want to call it. We're all on the same page with writing and playing and all that kind of stuff. So there's a band there when that time comes, for sure. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I think is so impressive, because a lot of bands kind of they've built their following by playing the shows and everything like that, and they have a buzz and everything. But you guys started from the ground up. You haven't had the opportunity to play shows, but you fucking killed it. Obviously, to get almost 1,000 plays on your songs, that's in under 2 months. I think that's pretty fucking good.
Thank you.
I think that's really. And I think that speaks to how good. That speaks to how good the album is, I think. Honestly, that's a testament right there. Because if it was crap, you're not going to get that. Not in 2 months.
I'd like to think so. That's for sure. I try to think of it that way. I've had those moments where I'm just kind of like, well, it's got to be good, right? Because people are listening to it, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. I used to actually not really look. I used to really not look. Because.
Fucking look all the time now.
It can kind of get discouraging, right? But then you realize you're really only doing it because you love to do it and you want to do it. And if people listen to it and like it, that's a bonus, right? We make music that we want to listen to, and we both listen to such a wide variety of music, and I think that kind of translates into our writing as well. You can hear a few different genres in some of our songs. Our last 2 EPs have had a lovey-dovey acoustic song on it. So, you know what I mean? And lovey-dovey, I mean, just by the sound of it, right? In comparison to the other stuff. I mean, the record or the EP before this one was like a full-on metalcore song with a breakdown at the end. And
nice.
it was totally out of left field, but James and I both agreed it had to be on the record, and it had to be on there. And
I'm glad it is. I think at this point it's our second biggest song. Right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is for sure.
Is that, are you talking about Burn?
No, I'm talking about Humanity.
Or Humanity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Humanity. Well, that is, I think, our second.
Yeah.
Song right now.
That's awesome.
Another cool thing too is the whole Twitter thing. Other bands we've started to interact with because of that, and meeting new bands, and we met a band in another band here in Ontario that or 2-piece, kind of same thing, what we're doing.
Shout out Chasing Records.
Yeah, they're great. They're great guys, and it's a really
Awesome.
cool, really cool sound they've got, and yeah, we're able to discover other bands too that we may not have heard of. So it's all good.
Now,
I think
talking about other
there's
bands from Ontario. I'm sorry, you should check out High Front. They're tied with you for being my favorite Canadian rock band. But check out High Front. They're from Ottawa. Kick ass.
Sweet.
High Front. Why have I heard that name before?
They're on Twitter.
Well, probably because they're awesome, I'm guessing. But I have heard that name.
They're
I'll
awesome.
definitely check them out. And I'm gonna check my Twitter and make sure we're not already following each other, so I don't feel like a complete ass.
That's the worst feeling whenever somebody's like, oh yeah, you should check this person out. And you're like, oh, okay. So you type it in and you're like,
Already did.
for a minute, apparently. Whoops.
I've done that. I've had people follow us, and then like I'll send them a little message, thanks for following, and I'll give them a little preview of the song or whatever like that. And like they'd already heard it because they'd already tweeted about it. I just didn't see the tweet. I didn't, because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I don't get notifications as they happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My
Yeah.
Twitter
Or
is
like,
like
not till like an hour or
what I
two
see.
after they've happened. Yeah. So like then I feel like a tool because I'm just like, hey, you should check out our music. And we did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
We already did. Thank you. Yeah. Great.
It's like, you don't say. I should? Really?
Yeah. But it's cool, like Jay said earlier about such a music community is like, it kind of takes me back to like the MySpace days, because
Right.
that's what MySpace was, at least for me, like my early bands
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, MySpace was all about connecting with other bands.
Mhm.
And
100%.
like Facebook came around, and Facebook's kind of like the jack of all trades of social media, but that's kind of like the problem, right? Is you can't really zero in on bands when it's a
That's right.
platform that does everything, I guess.
Mhm.
Twitter's just so much more simplistic in the sense that you're literally just typing things you want to say. Of course, you can send links and all that sort of thing, obviously, but I don't know. I think that might be a reason why bands tend to go there as opposed to other places.
I think it's because.
You know,
Sorry, Jen. I think it's because Facebook has all their algorithms, right? So if you want to reach your audience, you have to like specifically like pay to fucking boost an ad or whatever to put your EP out.
Absolutely.
And
It's like-
Instagram's the same.
otherwise,
Yeah,
they block
Instagram-
what your friends are seeing, right?
Yeah, Instagram is so hard to like. You can't just hit like a share button. Like, Twitter, you can retweet it, you can
Yeah.
quote tweet it. Facebook, you can share it. Twitter, you either have to like screenshot it, or you have to have like a repost app where you copy and paste and do all this other, like Instagram. Like Instagram just makes it so much harder
Yeah.
to quickly
And
share.
there's been times where like I'd post on Instagram, and I think when like on release day of our last EP, we got like a considerable amount of likes on it, just in comparison to previous posts or whatnot. And then there's other times where it's like you get like 3 likes.
You feel like nobody
Yeah.
does it.
Well, I'm like kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I know that this isn't how it works, right? Like, but to your point, the algorithm thing really makes it difficult.
See what?
And I think that's why Twitter's the best, because I don't know if they necessarily have that as much.
They do, but I don't think it's not as like tied down as
It
other
seems like, from what I've gathered, if anything algorithm ish or whatever is more like in the trending section,
Mhm.
right? Like what's trending
That's
and all
right.
that kind of stuff. Where, I mean, if like I've seen so much content that I don't even follow on my newsfeed. Like I think I for sure don't even have 20 followers on Twitter. Like I don't use it. I just use it to spy on what James is doing with the band. But that's about it. Like I see retweets and likes and shares from people I have no idea who they are.
Mhm.
But it all comes back to something that is relevant
Somebody you
to.
follow or a
Yeah.
topic or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Twitter is the way to go with the music or any kind of promoting or anything like that.
So the one thing that like Dusty Grant, he and I do like a Sunday morning show with a couple of other guys. And the one thing that he was finally able to do that made Facebook like worth it for him, he just made a group. Like it's Dusty Grant and Friends, the group. And he just has like everybody that he's trying to get his stuff out to in that group. So everybody finally, that's the only way he can get people to see what he's doing.
Right.
Well, yeah, I've had people talk about adding us or like, well, first of all, asking if we're on Facebook, which we're not, but telling me that they have these groups, these music sharing groups or whatever. So they say, okay, well, that's no big deal. You know, sucks you're not on here, but we're going to share your music through our music group. And some days you can really tell when that happens because it's like right after you interact with that person, all of a sudden you've got all these likes and retweets and stuff like that to your music, right? So it's really interesting how that has become a thing, and then works for Dusty. Which, by the way, that guy is amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
I added, and we have a playlist. I call it ours and theirs, and it's basically all of our music, and then we splice it between a lot of like indie bands that we've connected with through Twitter. And I just recently added like a whole bunch of like mainstream stuff too, just to balance it out or whatever. And I got Dusty on there, and like he's just unreal.
Yeah.
The amount of passion that goes into his music. And I have if he's listening, like, dude, you're awesome. Like,
And Dusty, if you're listening, you should get these guys on your show too, and I'll get
You
you another
should.
contact for another podcast.
I
I'll get you
will,
on 2
in fact,
podcasts,
what
whenever
time
the
is
fuck.
it? Dusty is probably in bed right now because he's like up at 5 o'clock in the morning all the time for his job.
Well, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm
Yeah, my phone will start going off that Dusty has posted something at like 6 a.m. and I'm like, bro, I am not even like, what are you like, what is that? My silent button is broken on my phone, so I hear everything all night long. At 6 a.m. I'm like, this better be something important. And I look over and it's like Dusty Grant has posted, and I'm like, God damn it, Dusty.
I had Through the Cracks on yesterday, and I can't plug that song enough. Like, I don't know if I was late to the dance or anything like that, but
Nah, man, that's something that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
yeah, well, there you go. Like, I listened
Now
to
we're on
it.
week 2.
You know, I can't believe that guy's not a superstar yet.
Right. That's what you'll find all across, I think, in my opinion, being plugged into the Twitter music community. Everybody I've heard is fucking crazy. So good.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking for, and you know, Ryan Jones right here, he's got a great group called Modal Citizen, and they're fucking amazing, like industrial-esque, like they're fucking awesome.
Nice.
They're insane, Ryan. You're
There's
nuts.
lots of that out there. It's
Right?
it's a friggin' sin how many of these bands slip through the cracks.
Absolutely.
You know, or just, whatever, just don't get noticed, like, and the weird thing is people must have heard it. Like, somebody's heard it and been like, wow, that's awesome. And then they just
Didn't do anything with it.
their day and don't do anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I guess that's my shameful way of saying, like, if you hear something and you like it, like, support it, because, that's probably somebody's livelihood maybe, or whatever. And it's, if it was worth 4 minutes of your time, it's got to be worth, a couple of bucks or whatever for you to buy or whatever, right?
Yeah, or at least, at the very least, it's worth a retweet or a share or whatever.
Yeah, like,
Jesus Christ.
Something.
Sometimes that
absolutely.
seems hard to get, even especially on Facebook. It's like, just share something for fuck's sakes. Like, I don't know if you see it or what, but like on Twitter, it's pretty quick. But at least do that at the bare minimum, because that makes a difference in adding to your playlist and things like that. Like, it's hard when nobody buys physical media anymore at all. Hardly. I still do. I like vinyls and shit like that. But it's tough. It's a whole different
Yeah.
I
era.
think,
Like we used to go drop all our money on fucking CDs and shit like that, right?
Oh yeah.
But now you just scroll through your phone. I want that now. Boom. There you go.
And maybe that, and I think that's, well, it's, I don't think it is. It obviously is. It's completely changed the dynamic of the music industry. Like even with myself, like I felt like I was one of the last ones to stop buying CDs.
Me
You know,
too.
I dug my heels in. I was like, no, if it's a band I love, I'm going to give them my money, support them, blah, blah, blah. And, and then I gave Spotify a chance or whatever. And I was like, ooh, I like this. I can have everything all at once.
And you don't have that giant book full of CDs. And then
was-
you're not driving 90 miles an hour down the highway like, where
that was me.
is my Megadeth CD? Like, what am I doing?
My wife showed me a meme like years ago, and she just flipped her phone around and showed me and just kind of gave me that look. And it was a dude flipping through one of those big cases while he's driving his car, and it said, "Back in my day, the struggle was real." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's me." Used to drive friends around, and they'd be like, "What CDs do you have in here?" And I just kind of reach behind me to the back seat, and I just like, "Here you go."
I had 3 of those. Like, 'cause, you had the smaller binder, and then you had your little square one, or you had
The
that
200.
big
Yeah.
256 disc monster. And
That's what
I had like 4 of
Right.
those in the car, and people would be like, "What do you want to listen to?" And I'm like, "Bam!" Like volume 1,
Yeah.
bam, volume 2. Bam, are you done? Like, can you pick something out of these, or do I got to get the other one?
I made it easy too. Mine was fucking alphabetized.
Oh yeah. Oh
This
yeah,
is
like
weird.
it was alphabetical, and then like order like alphabetical by artist, and then in order the albums were released. Like everything was just nice and neat, and had to have it all right. I couldn't find anything if I didn't.
I tried putting the liner notes in it once, and I just stretched the shit out of it. So then when I decided to take them out, then the CDs wouldn't stay in there anymore.
Fly out, yeah.
So no us talking about CDs. We just aged this whole podcast.
No, I went. I took my son has his truck has a CD player in it, but he normally uses his phone, and my car has a CD player. So when I went up to Kansas City to see him for his birthday a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I want to find like a different. I have one CD.
Did you have your son? Did you have your son when you were like 5?
No. No, I will be 38 in April. But he
son has a
turned-
truck.
he just turned 18, so
Okay.
he's an adult. But we were up there, and I was like, I need a couple other CDs, because my book that I had I don't know what happened to those. But I was like, where can we buy CDs at now? And he was like, Walmart. And I was like, no, they're not going to have anything. No, we're not going there. Best Buy had vinyl, but no CDs now, which was weird. And then he was like, oh, there's this one place, and it's called Vintage Stock, and it's like used, but it was just mountains and mountains and mountains of CDs. And I was like, oh, yay. Just went digging through everything. We were there for like 3 hours, and he was like, Mom, can we go yet? And I'm like, no, bro.
Not yet.
I am still looking. Hang on.
I think the only
Yeah, the only
two.
CDs you're gonna find at Walmart are country CDs. I think.
They
That's all I ever see.
the Walmart here has a pretty good mix, but if you find like rock CDs and stuff, that it's gonna be edited. Like you can't get, our Walmart actually has a huge section of vinyl now.
Oh wow.
There's more vinyl than CDs, and it's weird. I'm like,
Well, I
That's
guess we are
insane.
talking like American Walmart, like Walmart
Yeah.
proper, and Canadian.
I'd
Walmart.
much rather go buy vinyl at a record store though. Like
yeah,
I would not
Yeah.
like it is not a cool vibe to be
It-
flipping
yeah, it
through vinyl
feels-
at Walmart.
it feels weird to pick up like a Fleetwood Mac vinyl there or like they even had like Kanye on vinyl and stuff like that. And I'm going, this is so like, it's awkward to have those.
Yeah.
types
They
of albums.
probably only have like hit records too, right?
Yeah.
You're not
They-
gonna
even-
find the really cool obscure shit. At
Yeah,
Walmart.
no, they had, there's like they had like Jimi Hendrix, and there's Pink Floyd albums, and like,
Yeah,
They had all
the usual ones,
yeah,
right?
like 21
Walmart
Pilots.
and stuff. That's weird.
Yeah, they had like 21 Pilots, all their albums on vinyl. Fleetwood Mac was there, Garth Brooks, like all kinds of, big hit type stuff.
household stuff.
Yeah, like the number, like just the mass of vinyl. I was like, what are we doing here? Like there's a section of CDs this big and a whole wall of vinyl.
It's unreal.
Well,
Well, I mean,
vinyl
I
had
heard
the
that
best. Vinyl had the best year last year. Or this past year, I think vinyl sold more than they ever have. So
Was that
vinyl's
right?
existed, yeah. Like so, vinyl's fucking huge.
So is
Yeah,
it
the-
like, are we talking like DJs buying this, or just people like buying
Just
vinyl and just listening
People
to
buy
it?
vinyl now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole section of turntables there. Like I got my son a turntable and like I had a whole bunch of vinyl that I gave him, and like that's the only way he wants to listen to music if he's at home. So it's pretty crazy to see everybody like going back to that,
Maybe we should put our stuff on vinyl.
right?
Yeah. I heard Bandcamp has started to do that, actually. They started to press for artists if they want, which is pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That is cool.
I don't know how much it costs or anything like that, but I know making vinyl is fucking expensive. But if you had a way to kind of, fulfill it
maybe.
through Bandcamp, that'd be all right.
Maybe I'll get the 3 EPs printed for James for Christmas, and
There you go.
then you can sell them on eBay in a few years.
Start the bid really high, see what happens.
$5.
$5. That is high. That's what I was talking
Right. Ryan says that they've had a lot more love on Twitter. And then he says that if people say they listen to everything, there's a lot of people, I think, that I feel like rock kind of somehow gets ignored in all of that. You can be like, I listen to everything. Oh, so do you like, and you can throw out just about any rock act. And they're like, who?
Well,
Yeah, when I hear someone say that they like everything, they listen to everything, I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, so you don't even listen to music, but
Yeah, great. Yeah,
but I actually listen to everything though. So
I did too.
so like I'm judging someone for saying the same thing that I say, but I do like you brought up Fleetwood Mac there, like that's I'm always down for Fleetwood Mac, but I also have Lamb of God's Philadelphia
Right.
live DVD, like in arm's reach in one of my bins. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. That's it.
it's yeah. So I just I don't know. It's almost like I want to hear them say some bands that
Would
I know
surprise you,
or
Right.
whatever.
or that you would know.
Yeah.
That's if I put my library on shuffle, like I don't know if I'm going to get country, if I'm going to get metal, if I'm going to get like Latin music. Like the only thing you're probably not going to hear is like stuff from like the 40s and 50s too much, or like worship music type stuff. Like other than that, it's pretty well free game. You could hear anything, but people will be like, "Oh yeah, I listen to everything," and I'm like, "So like this person?" And they're like, "Who?" And I'm like, "That's what I thought."
And that's kind of my point, right?
That's every
It's-
conversation I have with people who say,
Right?
Yeah.
like I feel
Especially-
I feel like when I get that response, I listen to everything. They don't want to actually tell me what they listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Or
just
like-
say that to think you won't pry, right? They say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
covered it. I listened to everything. Anything you can ever throw me. Oh, how
Exactly.
about this?"
Yes.
100%.
the best is like some of the people that I've talked to, either like who I work with or just that I interact with on a daily basis. They'll ask me about our band and say, "Well, who do you sound like?" And I'm like, like I always hate that kind of question because I'm like, "Well, they sound like us," but whatever. It's like, we take a lot of inspiration from like Breaking Benjamin and Seven Dust and stuff like that, and you can just see the blank expression on their face.
There's my Seven Dust tattoos are
Nice.
like rolling
Nice.
around all over here.
But they
Oh,
don't. They have no idea who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I'm left at square one or whatever. I think the closest I got was I'd say 3 Days Grace, and they'd be like 3 Days Grace, and then I'd like go into a little bit of like I hate everything.
I
about
hate everything about you.
I know that.
Which I mean, like, and if someone were to hear you say that and they go listen to us, like, would they get it? You know what I mean? Like, would they? Because we don't really sound like them, but it's such a heavy influence for us that
Yeah.
we just think of them.
Yeah, it's my
When
go-to.
we're-
When I say it.
Yeah.
I just get more amused out of the idea that I just name off all these bands, and they don't know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of Seven Dust, if you're a fan, have you listened to Morgan's new EP?
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's really
Is
good.
it?
Eh?
Oh,
Yeah, it's really good.
it is so good. Like, I was shocked. Like, what song is it? That really mellow track that is on. What is that song called?
It's the last one or something,
Yeah,
isn't it? Isn't it the last song? Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I knew Morgan could sing. Like, I've heard him sing like off and on through the years, but I just did not think that. I didn't know what to think that EP was going to be like.
So I'm a big Clint Laurie dick rider. Like, I love that guy. That guy can't do any wrong. I wish I could play guitar like him. I wish I could sing like him. I love him. And it's cool. Like you listen to his solo record, and then you listen to Morgan's solo record, and you can really hear what elements they each bring to Seven Dust, right? And another cool thing is like Clint did all the guitars on Morgan's EP, which is pretty cool. And you can kind of hear that too, right? In a good way. And anyway, that's
it's very distinctive, and it's great. Like Clint solo stuff. Like
I can talk about him for hours, man. I can talk about him for hours.
When he did the Hello Demons Meet Skeletons project, that was like every time he would bring out another one, like I automatically knew I would push play and I would just get goosebumps instantly.
Yeah.
Like
his voice is incredible. I mean, and he's just so talented as a musician, right? I mean,
and the like the talent just in those guys individually in Seven Dust as a whole, like even John's the projected project is solid music front to back. Like those guys just don't, like they touch it and it's gold. Like LJ's the single he just put out where it's him and Sahaj from Raw, and there are no instruments in that. All those backing,
that's all Sahaj, right?
All Sahaj's voice.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like LJ's
that's insane.
Like it sounds like there's like 7 or 8 different instruments going, but it's all Sahaj. And it's just so cool to see how different all their stuff is, but at the same time, you see where it all fits right back into what they do.
It was cool just to see Raw back in the fold, like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, I hadn't heard anything in years, and then all of a sudden they just resurfaced. It's like, this is awesome, cool.
I talked to Sahaj on this on my podcast like a few months ago. He's one hell of a guy. He's awesome.
Seems like it would be.
He's really super cool. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't realize he was as old as he is.
Yeah, I know.
he's like 50 or something. I was like, holy fuck! Like you're still like.
They all.
It's like I guess I was like 17 when I listened to you, so probably.
I was gonna say like what was it, like 06 to like before? Yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah, the last time I saw Raw was at band camp in Madison, Wisconsin. I think that was 2005.
Wow.
So it would have been.
Because they went on hiatus for a while, but they're putting out a new album. I don't know if it's out now, but it's close, and they have
they had a single out. I know that.
Yeah, single. Yeah, but they have the original lineups back together. So that's
I've been getting super excited because all of these bands like from back then are like starting to resurface. Like Adema has new music coming out, and all these other people, and it's just like what? What
now isn't. So isn't like Marky Chavez or Chavez?
Yeah, he's the singer.
Right?
Yeah.
So is he the singer again? Like, is he back with them?
That I'd have to ask somebody because I
remember when that first record came out, man. I was like,
dude, that record was so good.
Yeah,
he's Dylan Davis's like half brother or something.
That's right, step brother or half brother.
And that was like the gimmick, if you will, because like their first single, you can so hear the Jonathan Davis in him, and it was like that is so sick. But it was funny, like that was, geez, I was like, I guess I was first year of high school when I started listening to that stuff. Like I listened to like my CDs were like Much Dance 1998, 1999 before I went to high school. No joke. And then the first rock band I heard. If you want to call it rock, was Slipknot's first self-titled, and that changed my life, man.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what put me on the music.
No, that's like I love it whenever you get like the sibling acts that are like you never even expect it. Like, have you did you ever hear the band Audio Vent?
No.
Yes.
It would have been like back in like 2002, 2003 would have been when their album came out. But that was like they were Incubus Junior. Like Brandon Boyd's little brother was the singer. Mike Einzinger's brother was the guitarist. One of the other guys was like a step brother of somebody else. Like it was
That's
Really
cool.
Incubus Jr.
it was baby Incubus, but you could hear like Jason and Brandon have such distinctive voices, but you can hear them in each other so clearly.
It's the same with
That's cool.
Power Man 5000. That's
Yeah.
That's
Rob Zombie's
Rob
brother.
Zombie's brother.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty.
Yeah,
That's
Rob
Rob Zombie's brother. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Tonight the Stars Revolt is still one of the greatest songs of all time.
Mhm.
That was a
You
solid.
know what? I
that was
won't
their
disagree
first
with
one.
that.
I'm being schooled here
Dude.
tonight.
That
Well,
was a
I
crushing
think-
fucking album.
I
That
think
was my
it's-
2000, man.
yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I was listening to fucking R. Kelly then, man. Like, what do you want from me?
That's fine.
I think my favorite brother combo that there has ever been though is Clint Lowry and Corey Lowry.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Those two, like,
Yeah. He's Corey's playing guitar in Seether right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
yeah, he's in Seether now.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Seether's new record?
Yeah.
So good.
Is it good?
It's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
It's dark, I find, which is pretty cool.
Very
Mm.
dark. I don't know if it's the same case with this record. I know with the last record, Poison the Parish, I think they'd split from their longtime record label and they were kind of like on their own. And they didn't take it in a completely new direction, but it got edgier and darker. And it was
Yeah.
less about like, let's get on the radio and more about like, let's just make what we want to make.
Yeah.
And it was heavier. It was darker. And the cool thing was they'd been around for so long and had such a big fan base that
Yeah.
you know
They can do it. They can get away with it.
people ate it up and loved it. I think they're writing some of the best stuff they've ever done.
Well,
But
and-
I'm a total mark for Seether. I think
Yeah.
Sean Morgan
Is he? Yeah. Is he your Clint? Is he your my Clint Lowry?
he would definitely be one of them. The guy's voice and just what he writes about. I don't want to call him underrated because like I don't want to say
He's
I-
underrated.
I say that he doesn't get credit. It's just I think his name just gets left out of the conversation a lot of times when it comes to rock bands.
He definitely
Seether's not new on the scene. They've been around like it's almost been 20 years now, and they've consistently put out hit record after hit record. They've got #1 songs, and it's just like that dude's the voice behind it. And some of the writing that I do is very much influenced by Sean Morgan. He's very poetic, and you can feel the pain that guy was either in at the time that he wrote it, or just the place that that he was going to in his head when he wrote the song. Almost clearer than any other artist I know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm going to say that here because I have a super mark for the guy. So
I think one thing that probably impacted a lot of their previous music is so many lineup changes that they've been through.
yeah, that hurts. Yeah,
Because they've been through 2 or 3 drummers now. They've had John for more than 15 years. I know that.
Mhm.
But they went through a few there in the beginning, and then they went from Pat to Troy McClawhorn was in there for a little while. Then they went back to being a 3-piece for a bit, and then Corey finally joined with them.
Yeah.
But Corey and Sean have known each other for 16, 17 years.
So
Yeah,
you
even
think
though
they'll
they were
kind
in
of
the same band, the chemistry
Like,
is
there's-
clearly
Yeah.
there.
There's a huge
That's
history there because in 2005, when Clint left Seven Dust for a little bit and did Dark New Day, there was a big they did like a 5-month tour where it was Seether, Crossfade, and Dark New Day.
Yeah.
And they were like it was 5 solid months of all of them being on the road together, and those guys were all that was how Troy got into Seether later on. They had all done all that time together.
Right.
And when I saw Corey join him with them, I was so excited because that's a perfect fit right there.
Yeah.
That's got to be the hardest thing when you're restructuring, is trying to like find your groove again every time, right? So if you try to have your momentum and you have something established, then that gets completely fucking
People
turned
get
upside
it.
down. So
People get invested with the members too, as silly as that might sound, right? Like, I mean,
they do. Yeah.
I mean, I was like that even, like I was a big Mushroom Head fan, right?
J-Man.
He's like, if I could scream like anybody, it would be him. And you know, so when J-Man left,
I stopped when J-Man left. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Fuck Mushroom Head then. And then when Jeffrey
Like,
Nothing
yeah.
left, I'm like, well, what are you doing? Fuck him.
Well,
Fuck.
I mean, you know, J-Man left, and then Gravy left, which is Steve's brother, like the drummer's brother. And I'm like, I got a Mushroom Head tattoo on my arm now, man. Like, what the fuck you guys doing? Right? And then, and then Waylon joined, and I was like, oh, okay, Waylon kind of sounds a little bit like J-Man. And I was young enough where I was like, okay, I can reinvest. And then he fucked off, and now J-Man's back, but no Jeffrey Nothing. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I'm out.
That was like when Clint left Seven Dust for that little bit of time.
And you can hear it. You can hear when he left.
There's such a huge difference in the music. And Sonny Mayo he's one of my favorite people on the planet. I love Sonny.
Sonny's
He's
great.
a solid guy. And it was awesome having him there, but it was a different band to me. And I was really torn because I had gotten, over the years, I'd gotten really close to everybody. So I was like, what do I do here? Because Clint's doing something and Seven Dust is doing, like, what are you supposed to do as a fan? Like, is it okay to do this and like to be okay with everybody? And then when he came back, like, oh, that first album, when he came back, it's just instantly you get, there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that feeling too when I listen to 3 Days Grace right now. And I hate to be the guy who's because I'm a singer or whatever. It's just I don't get the same feeling from Matt Waltz that I got from Adam Gontier.
Yeah.
And when I listen to Saint Asonia, I'm like, there it is. Like, I don't know. It's like you say, you just get used to something. Like Matt Waltz is a great frontman. And 3 Days Grace, as they are right now, are a great rock band. I just wish they weren't 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, because you get used to what they were.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't attest because I mean, it wasn't my age group, so I don't know what it was like to be, a diehard Van Halen fan when Roth left and Hagar showed up. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up hearing both on the radio and was probably a certain age when I realized it was the same band, and I was like, whatever, so I never really had a preference. I feel like that was my first real taste of that, and I mean that's still fairly recent, really. Yeah. The last 5 years or so, or whatever.
I'd say Killswitch would be mine. When
you're right. Killswitch
Jesse left, and when the Jesse Howard thing happened, that was still when I was just getting into that music, so I didn't really know the first Jesse era. Yeah. I only really knew the Howard era, and then I listened back. But when Jesse came back, I was like, I was bummed, right? Because like I really liked Jesse's voice, but I got so attached to Howard and what he was. And
I was the same, but Jesse kind of silenced it for me, where it was just like I knew he was coming back, and I listened to it and like, okay, it's not Howard, but like he sold me right away. Like,
it's still super Killswitch. It's still super Killswitch. And I'll tell you, dude, when their last record, when Atonement, when Howard and Jesse, dude, I got chills, man.
That video again.
I might have almost teared up because I was so stoked.
I did. You saw me. You saw me. We were watching. we were. I think we were making our second record at the time, and she's like, dude, you have to see this fucking video, and you put that on, and you see that silhouette of Howard like just kind of sitting off to the side.
It's like a build-up, man.
It's and you know it's coming, and then he gets in there, and like instantly, like every hair on my arm is standing up, and it was just.
And
It's
then,
like a
and then
beautiful
Howard's last scream of the verse, they fist bump. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
my life is complete.
Absolutely.
That's always
I-
like when they can make that transition and do it like that. I think that makes it a little bit easier. But
Yeah.
like you know, talking about like 3 Days Grace, Adam's voice is so super distinctive.
Yes,
yeah.
very much so.
Like it's so hard to replace that. Like that's
That's what I mean. It's like 3 Days Grace is a completely different band
yeah.
Yeah.
now, and it's like I like 3 Days Grace as they are right now. Like, but I just have a hard time connecting the name. And I separate all the music. I haven't seen them live or even watched a live performance of them since Matt joined the band. So I mean, I probably should, because I'm really curious to know like what hearing old 3 Days Grace sung by Matt sounds like.
Hmm.
So that's like oh shit, what was it? Like you feel like maybe 3 Days Grace should actually be Saint Osonia now, and Adam should still have
Kind of, yeah.
which there's another, you know, we have other bands that I know Joe and I both feel that way about what they're doing. But they, you know, like I feel like when you've got such a distinctive voice that it's not the same band. Like you can call it whatever you want, but it's not the same band.
No,
Yeah. I think if you build a career like that, you have to sit there and say, well, look, that I'm keeping the fucking name because I made the sound, so fuck you. But in the case of Killswitch, like that was Jesse's band, so it wasn't like they were bringing in some random dude. Like Jesse started it and all that, and then he had his issues and things like that, and Howard stepped in, but not in like a malicious way. He wasn't like, I tried out and I'm fucking better than you. It was more like, hey, these guys want me to try out and carry it on type thing, so I'll carry it on, you know. And then when Jesse's ready to come back, he stepped down like, hey, it's cool, you know, and he went on and did his own thing. And I can't remember what the fuck Howard's band was after he left Killswitch. Light the Torch. Okay,
well,
and
that's what it is now. I think it was
something
Devil You
before
Know.
that. Devil You Know. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw Devil You Know, and I didn't know that Howard was singing for them. I didn't know anything about it. This is when they just started. I was working a show because I used to do concert security, and I was like looking at the band line. I was like, Devil You Know. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. So I go, I'm like, stand by the stage, and fucking Howard Jones walks on stage. I was like, what are you doing here? What is
What's
this?
happening?
Yeah.
And I was like watching the crowd, and he just like passed me on the back, like, good job. But it was like, you just made my fucking life. I have to talk to you on the tour bus after. I couldn't find them, but it was so, you know.
First time I heard them, I had a buddy just tell me, he says, you got to hear this cover of Eye of the Tiger. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he puts it on. And it was them. And it was Howard. And I was like, what? It was so cool. You haven't lived until you've heard Howard Jones cover Survivor. That's for sure.
That's fucking true. That's fucking
Absolutely.
Well, hell yeah. Well, fellas, why don't you take the last minute here? Tell us where we can find your album online. I got to jump off and do another fucking call. You guys keep talking if you want to. I got to go.
Well, you can find us on all major streaming platforms. You can find us on Twitter at 12 Years Band. I believe on Instagram at 12 Years Today Band.
I think that's right. I think so.
We're on YouTube. Pretty much everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Awesome.
Coming soon.
And the best way, coming soon.
Coming soon. Speakers. I don't know where I was going with
Speakers
that.
near you. That's amazing. And is Twitter? Yeah. Is your DMs on Twitter the best way to get a hold of you? Because me and Sarah are totally going to hook up more podcasts for you guys for sure. So I just want to make sure we can correspond in some way.
That's probably the best way, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll holler at Dusty for sure. You guys would have a blast with him. He's so much fun.
I'd love to meet Dusty. I mean, I've been listening to his music nonstop now, so that'd be really cool.
Yeah, he does. Sure. He kind of overlaps with this. Well, usually his is just ending as we're starting because he does his on Wednesdays from like 8:30 to 9:30 Central, and so we kind of overlapped with him tonight. But
well, that's another thing that everybody can look out for too. Is I think we're going to get in on the game ourselves.
Nice.
So it's fun. I mean, you just sit here and talk music forever, like.
Yeah.
And we end up like we go all over the place with our conversations. Like we will have, we've built a disaster bunker on this show.
There you go.
Like we've got all kinds of stuff going on from sitting here talking to people. So
Absolutely. Well, look, guys, I want to say thank you for having us on here.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for coming, man. You guys are the shit.
Oh, absolutely.
I fucking love your band, guys. Like, seriously,
Thank
it's
you.
not just
Really appreciate it.
not
you.
blowing
So
smoke up
appreciate
your ass.
Yeah, no, thanks for all the kind words and having us on, and hopefully this isn't the last time. Hopefully we can
we'll have you
chat
back.
again soon.
Thank all you guys for joining and talking to us. We appreciate that shit. We love that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you next time. Take
Yes,
care,
we'll
guys.
see you guys next week. Next week, Joe, do we want to go ahead and tell them who we have coming next week?
Oh, we got Fallon Bowman next week. Former Kitty alumni, so that'll be good. She's good people. She's putting out a
She's
new
got
album.
a
We're gonna talk
new
to her.
album coming out. So we'll have her next Wednesday.
Kitty? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
she rules.
fucking
She's good.
music. I love it.
I love
Yep.
Kitty
We
too.
got-
She's good.
You gotta make sure you're gonna have to tell me. You're gonna have to have a segment of that show where it's like, where were you when you heard Brackish for the first time?
Right. I
We
think
will.
we
That's
all
a good
probably
idea.
stopped and went, huh?
I was in high school and I thought, what in the hell was, oh my God, this is awesome. Good for them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They heard it. They were like, this is Chicks. And I was like, this is what? And they're like, this is all Chicks. This is all Chicks. And I was like, no, it's not. No, there's no way. And then she started singing. I was like, sure enough. Okay. All right. I'm sold.
She was intense.
One thing I learned from, I talked to Fallon quite a bit on Twitter and the DMs, and one thing I learned was that, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Head PE. I know you did, Sarah, but that Killing Time song, remember Killing Time? With
I knew
with-
Bartender. That was the only one I could
Yeah. So on that album, they had a song. He did a song with Morgan Lander, the singer for Kitty, and it was actually supposed to be Fallon instead of her for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know what didn't work out, but I thought that was interesting. So that's cool tidbit. But yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you again down the road. We're gonna play your tune on our radio show Friday
Absolutely.
again.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, guys.
Yeah. And
Thanks,
definitely send us whatever you guys want and we'll play it anytime.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
Nick
that's
says,
awesome.
see you next week.
Really, you might have already said that.
Nick says, see you next week. Everybody take care, be safe, and
Absolutely. Thanks for getting up early, Nick.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Take care, guys. Be safe out there.
I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought, and a person the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. I display for assault, to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm.